right. Potentially, 3 green lights means everything's working. 3 green. Lost my words, 'cause words are jerks, and sometimes they don't come out of your mouth. All right. Ripley really made sure not to forget anything this time. What could we possibly have forgotten? Water, check. Pen, check. Mouse, check. Buttons, check. Headphone, check. Audio changed, check. Am I too loud for the microphone? 1 2 1 2. This is just a test. Making sure the microphone really the best. And like how that green light is wavering, but there. It's there. Close enough. Ah, that's not my buttons. Ah, it's Space Goonie 42. It's been a while since I did some lifetime streams, but I'm about to press some buttons, and you know what that means. That it's going to start, but my buttons are on the wrong screen. 'Cause it's been a while. I don't know how to make anything work, and everything here selected. Okay, let's click this. Click, there we go. Right? Right. Hey, Pat. Sorry. Hey, Pat. As per usual, if there's anything important, we'll do it over on the Pat cam. And by important, I mean serious. Hey, for Thubbery, did you just accidentally skipped over to my camera while you were saying something? But anyway, you should probably just switch over to me always and forever, because, you know, this is my show. This is my show. Don't Saturday TV Funhouse me. No. It's like, hey, here we go. It's my theme song. You know it's cool, 'cause it's all about me. And I'm Milo, so let's go, 'cause this is a Milo show. Right? It's like, how does it? You know that it go. It's the Milo show. So let's start the Milo show. Hello, and I am Mr. Cartoons, and I said cartoons. Mr. Cartoons, I don't like cars. I like cur, which is me, and oons, which is cartoons, and then there's a T in the middle. That's silent. No, remember like 5 seconds ago, I was like, this is my show. I had a little theme song, I sang it, but I was like, ready to go, 'cause it's my show, Milo show. Hey, you know. So, you know, it's right there in the song. You know this is my show. So, let's go to the Milo. I mean, seriously, it's only like 3 lines, and it's my show. And that's a cat that's here. There's another cat working the boards, making sure everything runs. Meow, 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 meow. Yes, you're the sweetest angel in the world, Ripley. And she is. Lots of stuff to talk about this week. Will we rip through it in 5 seconds? Maybe. Will it take forever? I'm going to try and get some work done. Like some actual work that I need to get done. I'm getting wildly close to finishing my afterwork project, the film for Moxie Fox, who sometimes shows up in the chat. And let me grab my pen. So I'm going to work on one of those shots, and I just realized right before, like, I set it up, then I'm like, nah, I don't care. I guess I don't care, but in my head, I don't quite picture that in this scene, this crow that gets shot with some arrows, like just through his cloak, and then gets wedged into a wall. I don't picture that he also has a little priest collar and a little cross hanging from his neck until I drag in the real character to look at, and I'm like, oh, cool. Well, I can't work on this on stream, can I? I mean, nobody's getting killed. Everything's fine. In the context of this film, he is the bad guy. It is based on true stories ish, except for this part, which is the fantasy part, where people are getting shot up with arrows and attacked with swords and whatnot. Laser Sharks, how has it been? Chilling out with your pink hair and your Cheetos, macaroni and cheese. What was the word I was trying to think of? Your Cheetos craft dinner, but I doubt it's craft dinner. Um, did I just click like on that? I believe Laser Sharks just posted on Twitter, possibly, and I think she's Pale Green Star on Twitter, but I'm not sure. Not Laser Sharks, but she just posted there like, "Hey, I already posted my Star Wars post for today because today, if you're watching this later, it's May the 4th, which is the Star Wars day that popped up. I don't know what 5 years ago now, 6 years ago now, where people were like, "Oh, May the 4th. It's the internet. Welcome to Facebook. Everything becomes a day now." If enough people post about it, which I guess that's how it should work, because democracy and whatnot. I'm gonna start roughing as I talk, but anyway, Laser Shark's second Star Wars ink post that was like, I'm not one to post twice here. I'm not a crazy person, but this one's too good. And when I saw that, I'm just like, this is the only one that needs to be posted. The only Star Wars meme that ever needs to be posted. Again, because I'm a cranky old man and I'm tired of still seeing thousands and thousands of now. It's infiltrated my reels. And I don't look at TikTok, but that one day I looked at TikTok for 12 minutes and I saw 1,000 ladies go out of their front door, hold their big mug of coffee or their wine glass in some cases, and do the. I wake up in the morning and I take a big breath, and everybody doing it the exact same way. But that was last week or the week before actually, because I was busy working. So So anyway, the only Star Wars meme that needs posting and that Laser Shark just posted, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes ago, was Lucille Bluth, I believe is the correct name, on the Arrested Development, and the scene where she's giving some money to George Michael, I think, and saying, "Here you go see a Star War." The phrase "a Star War" is the greatest phrase in the history of funny phrases. That's just a fact. It will never not be funny. That and hurt people. Almost everything that character ever said is the funniest phrase ever. But outside of that, if anybody ever says, "Oh, you're going to see a Star War," that's it. I'm done for the day. Like that and Super Nintendo Chalmers sitting on Sam's shelf, which is a Super Nintendo with Superintendent Chalmers painted on it, those are the two greatest things in the history of things. Pink hair Cheetos, mac and cheese. That's how she chills, chillin' with ease. It's a laser shark swimming in the ocean. She'll laser off any commotion. So anyway, I made some different notes. I don't know if I want to start off right away with, "Hey, people are jerks," and you go through life, you go for a walk in the real world, then people are just, "Hey, by the way, in case you didn't know, I'm over here in my car being a jerk. Hey, I'm just in line at the grocery store being a jerk. Oh, hey, how's it going? I'm just being a jerk." And I want to do it loud enough and hard enough that people know that I've been out being a jerk today. And I'm not talking about myself, but when I am out being a jerk, I do come back here and make sure to tell everybody I was out busy being a jerk today. But usually, I'm doing my best to not be a jerk. What's the old saying? There's an old saying. I think you can get on a t-shirt. Hey, Amanda. The old saying goes, Oh, I used to say it all the time on the old podcast, and I made a shirt of it, which is available at the shirt part of the store at mrcartoons.com, and it was yes. Hey, some of her hey, some of us are over here trying not to look like jerks. All right. Now, the shirt version and what I normally say on the podcast is, hey, some of us are over here trying not to look like assholes. All right. Hey, I thought there was no swearing on the thing. Sometimes there's got to be some swearing because today's story involves some swearing. One swear, just one swear. So I guess we are talking about that story first. You're not gonna, you teased it with, oh, we could talk about some angry time, or we could talk about a monkey fighting a giant lizard monster, and the entertainment therein. But you're just gonna be like, no, we'll talk about King Kongs versus monkeys. And first, you got to get this thing off your chest, and somehow you'll probably relate all of the King Konging to the guy in the street. Probably. I mean, most likely, whatever the first thing we start with usually ends up being weaved through everything else that we talk about, whether or not, uh, you know, it's on purpose, which nothing ever is. Um, I made a little circle over here, huh? Starting to rough this out. This part of this part of the film, everything is kind of sketchy anyway. But let me just get the shape of this guy. Oh, he's got some little tufts on the top of his head. Totally forgot about those. So, hit a lifeboat designed for 10. 10 only. Anything. That's systematic. Will get you faded. Why? I mean, I was going to say, why is that song always in my head? But I know why that song is always in my head. My friend Dwayne would always play that song, just that part of the song, over and over again, until I loved it, and then I hated it, and then I loved it, and then I hated it. So slight backstory, a little epilogue to our tale of sadness. Wasn't dragged by the down the road by my royal dadness. This isn't about a Bart Simpson haircut. Um, this is transparent. There we go. Something weird was happening. Um, Here in Nova Scotia, we went into lockdown again, which again doesn't affect me severely, other than mentally. But yeah, some people came to town. They went everywhere, or some people came to the province. They went all over the place. There was a bunch of outbreaks here and there. Um, Most of the best places in town here were hotspots at some point in time last week or the week before. Like, all right, cool, awesome, awesome. Really need to get some groceries though. I didn't realize we were all getting locked down. I thought it was just the city, but the whole place is getting locked down, which is fine. Excuse me, has to be done. And again, not uh, uh it's not a giant change. Like, some places are closed early, some other places are closed, but they're still grocery stores. They're still, whatever. I went to the dentist, which was super weird, sitting in a room with, two people, and they're like, take your mask off. Like, okay, tell us about yourself, because I wasn't at this dentist before, so I just started telling them stories, and the dentist is like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna love having you come here all the time. Like, hopefully I don't have to come here all the time, and please don't take my wisdom teeth. And then he was like, oh, cool. Well, you won't have to come here all the time, but I am gonna take those wisdom teeth. And they're like, oh, okay. I don't want that, but it's the only way. And before I got here, I already knew that's what we were setting myself up for. Doesn't matter. Good people, nice people, but very weird. being in a room, and literally I'm just like, this feels like, I feel like I'm breaking the law. I feel like I'm just completely naked. I've gotten very used to just like always wearing a mask. And, within the last week, I'm just like, do I start putting on my Optimus Prime helmet as well? Do I start wearing that crazy dog mask that you can see in some of my reels on the Instagram at Mr. Cartoons? Because I don't know, I just kind of am in the mood to just Daft Punk around town in a big crazy shiny helmet at this point. So yeah. Also, there was a big party in the city. A bunch of people were fined like $1,000 each, and they all took pictures of themselves. Like, check it out, it was worth it, huh? We just spent $10,000 to have a party, just a regular hanging out with each other party, but it was worth it because we're out of our minds. Because everyone's out of their minds. So I'm already like, really got to get groceries. Like, I really want some snacks. I want some decent food, but also, there's no toilet paper left here, so I got to go somewhere to get toilet paper. So I guess I'll just go to the grocery store. I don't need a ton of things, but the things that I need are important, and I don't feel like going for a drive. So I'm just gonna walk over to the grocery store. It's right over here, and get the few things that I need. And everywhere I go, I always put a mask on anyway. So nothing has really changed, but it's like, yep, we're in our phase 3 or whatever you want to call it. Um and I, I thought about keeping teeth in a jar, and then I immediately was like, no, I don't want that. I don't want that one bit. So I head over to the grocery store. Later. Anyway, I've got my mask on. So I'm outside with my mask on. Why? Do I always do that? No. Usually, again, when I'm in an area where I know that everybody's going to be a good 10 to 12 feet away, then I'll take my mask off. But if there's a chance I'm going to be passing by people, then yeah, I'm going to leave it on. All right? Is it obsessive compulsive? Sure, why not? Is that a thing that I am? Yeah, of course. That's why my apartment is neat and nobody's making me do it. I just need it that way. Um, so anyway, I don't think I'm completely insane. There's a lot of people that I see that are wearing their masks to and from the grocery store and just walking around and whatever, and people that don't. And fine, like that's fine. I'm not screaming, "Hey, put on a mask" to people who aren't wearing masks. I'm not screaming like, "Hey, we're the mask team" to people who are wearing masks. It's just, it's also just another layer of, "Hey, let's just keep at arm's length. Just double arm's length from each other and life is good." Um and on the weekend there was a freedom rally, I believe they called it. Not here, but I'm sure there was some outliers here, but again, just in the city, an hour away. Where everybody showed up to protest having to wear masks when they go to Walmart, I guess, and stores not being open for as many hours as they want them to, and yeah, it sucks. It sucks. Things suck. if people actually took the time to go out and protest for everything that sucks, well then they'd have to care about a lot more things. And, you know, Black Lives Matter would have also mattered to those people who are let's not go back into that part. So, let's talk about me. Talk about my problems. No, this isn't a problem at all. It's just, again, just so I'm, whatever, let's say I'm 40 feet from the grocery store. I'm at an intersection where not only do I know I'm going to cross paths with people, one of my neighbors is on the other side. I'm absolutely about to cross paths with her, and I'm almost definitely going to go, hey-oh, which is the same as spitting on a person, honestly. So, hi, Tatum and Nash. Um, so, I'm at the intersection waiting for the light to change, and a guy, there's like the right turn lane where, while it's on a red, you can make a right turn. Everybody knows that. That doesn't need to be explained. Yeah, what? You went to a separate camera just to explain that the thing doesn't need to be explained? Just, uh, so this car pulls around the corner, it slows down. And now I have to say, I haven't mentioned the other times in the weeks past that people have yelled at me on the street. If you go for a walk, if I go for a walk, somebody is going to yell something. And at least 99% of the time, it's just some teenagers or even just some 25-year-olds whose parents told them to get out of the house and do something today. And since they couldn't yell at people on their Xbox headset, they just need to make noise. And then when they see a person, me, they hang out the passenger side of their best friend's ride, trying to holler at me, but I don't want their number. No, I don't want to give them mine. I just want to go my way down the street without being screamed at. But that's what scrubs do. That's what scrubs do. All right. This is a scrub is a guy who thinks he's fly, but also known as a buster. He's sits on his broke ass. Anyway, nobody wants these scrubs. So no. So the last while, it's just been those. So it's usually an inaudible, just like thanks for just blurting out a noise. That's what people do. God knows, I'm sure. If I could really, really dig into my memory banks, I could come up with several examples. I'm sure of Amanda yelling random things at people, possibly encouraged by me, or me yelling things at people is encouraged by Amanda, because we used to have weird adventures like that. Not that she doesn't still try to encourage people to do things they don't want to do for the purposes of her entertainment. Um, but whatever. Nobody's gonna find those bodies. Um, yeah, at $1, I'd definitely be up around. I don't even know. Uh, in the past year, anyway. I think I'd be up to around $20. I think. I mean, it seems like it's about a once a week at minimum thing. Um, hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Hands need to be more menacing. So, I'm on the corner, ready to cross. And dude leans over to his open passenger window as he pretty much comes to a stop and yells at me, "Why are you wearing a mask?" Obviously, he didn't actually want an answer because it was a drive-by question. So that in and of itself, it offends me and upsets me because you're not actually answering a question. You are clearly yelling some kind of judgment at me because there is no time to answer. There's no time. You're going to keep driving, and I can see you keep driving. You could have just yelled, "Hey, you're ugly," or "Hey, you're stupid," and at least I could have applied that to a million other things. But instead, he yelled, "Hey, why are you wearing a mask?" I don't know this person. They don't know me, and I'm wearing a mask, so it's not like, "Hey, I thought maybe you were my friend Steven. Why are you wearing that mask, Steven? You told me that you couldn't wear a mask." Like, nope, I'm not. Not me. I'm the person who is nervous about things. So it's the same reason I'm wearing a hoodie and it's warm out. I'm not. I'm not right now. I realize that, but the same reason that I need to wear a hoodie to get things done. It's just weird things that keep me going, make me feel like it's okay to be alive. Lots of people have whatever kind of security blanket they have to get them through the day, etc. And within the last year, this mask has become one of those things. In order for me to make it from my apartment to the grocery store, I not only need to wear a mask, but hey, why don't you ask me why I've sanitized my hands like twice between my own doorknob and the doorknob of my building? Because more than several people use those doorknobs. And, one spray was probably enough. My own doorknob use, probably don't need to spray my hands after that, but I did. But I did. You're not asking about that because you didn't see that. So, of course, there is no, the real answers are it's been a year of this, so I'm not taking my mask off until all of this is 0% and all of this is done beyond done. I'm just gonna have a mask on. And if anything, I am working my way up to ordering a Daft Punk helmet. Not because I know that it's protective, I'd still have to wear a mask underneath that, but just to be like, I'm done. I'm done. Just boop, and like a Cylon eye going back and forth or something like that. Just like, I am done. A Robocop helmet on the top, and then just regular mask on the bottom. I'm done making eye contact with people, and in this case, it wasn't even any eye contact. It was just, "Oh, cool, cool. Just yell at me. Just yell at me a question, which I don't get to answer." And I don't know. Do you know anything about my live stream, guy driving by? Because if you do, you'll know that I'll answer a question for an hour and a half. So that was one of the reasons I was thinking Laser Sharks was um, well, one, like I said, I answered the question with a question, and that question that you answered with was because I know that I might bite you, sir. So this mask is to keep me from biting people and reminding me that I can't just lay my teeth into people like I'm Danny DeVito, telling people that at least I don't have a bloody nose. Exactly. Like, so quickly, I did think or like immediately after, I just, my head was just thinking like, like, because at least my nose isn't gushing blood, and then climb in to that open window and then bite him on the nose, and it's like, huh? And also because when I do bite your nose into gushingness, I don't want anything to get into my mouth, so I need to be wearing a mask for that, sir. Is that the right answer? And no, of course it's not the answer. Um, so there is only one question that you can scream back at somebody when you have no time to put any of the pertinent questions. Like I can't just be like, hey, why are you wearing a jacket inside your car? Just close the windows and turn the heat on. Or it's a pretty warm day. Actually, it's kind of cloudy out today. Why are you wearing a baseball hat inside your car? There's plenty of shade in there, huh? What's up with your old dirty jean jacket? Why don't you get a better jacket? Hey, why don't you? And I could have, it would have been great. It would have been great to, if only I could have those Terminator 2 pry bar hands and just like climb on, latch onto the side of that car and just be like, hey, cool. So you know why I have this mask on, sir? I have this mask on so that when people yell at me and I latch onto the side of their cars, because that's an ability I have, because I have these Terminator 2 crowbar hands, so that when I do hang onto the side of your car and scream things at you for 5 minutes until you slow down slow enough for me to fall off and roll and then collect up my little pieces of liquid metal that fall off, it's so that when I'm screaming at you, I still feel legal about it when they're like, hey, did you hang off the side of this guy's car? And I'm like, yeah, officer. I was hanging off the side of the outside of this guy's best friend's ride, trying to holler back at him, but I'm not trying to be a scrub, just trying, to go get some grub on my way to the grocery store. But no, I don't I don't know enough of this. So, oh, that's a good one, Laser Sharks. I should have screamed back. What mask? You just see everyone wearing a mask now? Because I'm not wearing a mask. And you can't see my mouth? You got to go to the hospital, guy. You've lost your mind. I'm definitely going to do that the next time somebody in walking distance says, "Why are you wearing a mask?" and just be like, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. Take my glasses off in case if I'm wearing sunglasses, just like look into my eyes. I am being 100% honest with you. I'm not wearing a mask right now. I was never here. And then just walk away, like keep back away slowly, that he can see me backing away for like a half a mile, but keep doing this as if I'm just David Blaining away. So, oh my god, what question did you ask back to him? You're absolutely killing me. / I don't even care anymore. Nobody cares. It doesn't matter. Just waiting for those kids to go back to sleep. Bowden TV. I need Streamlabs to suggest me, suggest you, and suggest us all. Streamlabs. They put me up on a wall. So yeah, at the risk of not being featured on Streamlabs anymore, and swearing at some children, why do I keep giving him hands? So he yells, "Why are you wearing a mask?" And I yell, whilst wearing a mask on, and basically glancing in his direction, "Why don't you go fuck yourself?" And then I looked up, remembering that my neighbor was crossing from the other side of the street, and she looked slightly put off. I don't know, maybe she had a bad day. Maybe she thinks that the guy in the car just yelled at her. Maybe she heard what I said. Maybe none of the above. Who knows? But I looked at her and yelled, "Not you, but not you." But I've got a mask on. I think I've got my sunglasses on, and I'm on the other side of a street. She probably didn't hear either of it. But then when I walked by and was like, "Hey-oh," and she was like, "Oh, hey," like I, realized it was me or whatever. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if I just yelled, but I know that I yelled, but I don't know how it affected other people around me. Because I'm the kind of person who thinks about how will the other people around me be affected if I scream out something mean and crazy. Whereas this guy in a car, how many other people whilst driving through town did he just yell things at? You know, just like, hey, that shirt's cut awful high. Want to come get in my car? I don't I don't yell at people from cars to sexually harass them, so I don't know how to do it properly. So that's the best I can come up with. Hey there, strange person. You are looking attractive from this speed and distance, huh? Why don't I swing back and pick you up later? Good looking, and that's just a Simpsons-ish reference. Um, but yeah, so that's the best that I come up with because it's like I have too many real questions. If I do answer his question with the questions I want questioned, I know I'm not going to get the answers. Like he knows he's not going to get an answer, so he just did it as an insult question. So my brain immediately slips into insult question range. And it just went to that one because I'm like, I don't really have time to focus on him. I'm partially making up that he was wearing a jean jacket, but I think I saw a jean jacket. It doesn't matter. I don't think jean jackets are stupid, but if you're being a jerk and you're wearing a jean jacket, I'm going to try and make you feel bad about wearing that jean jacket. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's just being a jerk 101. They just gotta take something that they probably have like held on to for a long time. Which I mean, you see a jean jacket. People don't just wear a jean jacket. They either love their jean jacket, or they're embarrassed by their jean jacket. There's no in between. And the people who are embarrassed by their jean jackets, they don't wear jean jackets. It makes some sense. That makes some sense. So, so that was that. That was that. Like I said, not really anything. Just one of those little taking the temperature of the state of the world. Hmm. What if I just do running arms? Honestly, Space Sharks, Laser Goonie. Um, I remember seeing that episode for the first time when the very tall guy gets out of the very small car and explains, like, "Oh, do you think there is something humorous about the size of my auto car? It's the only one I can afford." And it's blah blah blah, and like the amount of like made up versions of that when somebody points something out, and I'm like, no, don't be like that. Um, I think a lot of it just stems directly from that episode and having that perspective put on me where it's like, yeah, a lot of people are just dealing with things in their own way. And if somebody's own way of dealing things is just wearing a little mask over part of their face, then carry on with your day. Carry on, my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Don't you cry anymore. Don't you cry no more? I don't know if I even know that song or if it's just from like popping up on the radio. Um, yeah, let's do a run first. And then the other thing I did this week, besides work and get some groceries and poop with my new toilet paper, sit down and watch King Kong versus Godzillington. And I'm gonna try my best as usual to not spoil anything too hard or not spoil anything at all. Um, but I mean, there's only so much to that movie, so this is your warning right now. Possibly some spoilers, but I'm just gonna try and talk about how it affected me, entertainment wise, versus specifics. But yeah, I like overall review of King Kong versus Godzilla is it was great? Question mark. It was super fun, awesome? Question mark. It wasn't bad. It was great. It was great. I think it was great, but it was definitely weird. It didn't make sense in most places, but in the vein of monsters fighting each other movies, you know, from the old Toho, Godzilla dudes in rubber suits, where it was basically here's an extended, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant wrestling match, which is that's what those old movies basically were, where it was like just a very little bit of story and then a big epic wrestling match. And for some reason, that's still what I expected in this movie. Um, so it's yeah, like it's that part of it, like the stuff that was silly, which again, none of it looked silly, but the overall reasoning for things was just like, yep, if this was the 70s, if this was the 60s, and even the early 80s, this would be completely cromulent reasons for any of this stuff happening. But there's just so many situations where I'm just like, what are you what are you talking about? What are you all talking about? Why are you doing this? What are you doing right now? And again, like the opening of the movie is basically it's not the opening, but it's basically like a King Kong movie. Which is why my prediction was, and not to give anything away, I thought for sure that the Godzilla that King Kong fights through most of the movie was going to be either a Mecha Godzilla that has like a holographic exterior or some sort of, you know, hyper organic uh, robot endo exoskeleton thing that makes it look exactly like Godzilla, and it's not Godzilla. And eventually, Godzilla will show up and be like, "Hey, yeah, let's team up. We're both good guys," because um, it's already been too well established. Superman can't murder Batman. Batman can't murder Superman. King Kong and Godzilla can't kill each other. Um, and then yeah, so much still, just like the King of Monsters, so much human nonsense. And if anything, spoiler, the guy whose name I can never remember, and never really knew anyway, but number 11's dad in King of Monsters, um, was probably the best part, human wise, about King of Monsters. That guy's great. When he does show up in things, his his take on all of the situations is good and entertaining and, you know, basically believable. None of the people in this movie were believable. Um, I'm not sure if it's a Hemsworth or one of the other ones, but whoever the famous guy is in it, Skarsgård, I don't remember. They all look the same to me. But the hot white guy who's like the star of the movie, I don't know why you're here. I don't understand why you're here. I don't understand what most of this is about. But it's your team, whatever you want to call it, is facilitating this movie. You're bringing the monsters together to fight for your reasons. So okay, you've got to be here. Even in the old movies, there's always got to be some dumb humans doing dumb stuff to give the monsters reason. Because, monsters are better than us. Monsters are just better than us. So, so I did see the action figure photos, so I knew that at some point King Kong is going to fashion an axe out of some Godzilla tail plating, or I don't know. I couldn't think of any other reason, or the humans are going to make him one. I don't know, but I know that's going to happen, and that's definitely, probably, almost definitely going to take me out for at least a little bit. But yeah, the only way I can think of for King Kong to protect himself against radioactive blasts from a giant radioactive monster is to have some sort of deflecting device. Again, just like in the Snyder Cut, when Batman's got some gauntlets to absorb Superman's eye blasts, even though with the slightest adjustment of Superman's eye, he could just avoid the wrist guard things and chop Batman into 1,000 pieces. He could chop everybody into 1,000 pieces. He could technically, if we're gonna go with Superman 3, 4, 3, 4, 4. Yeah, I was gonna say The Search for Spock, The Quest for Peace. I don't remember which one, but he could technically, with just his eyes, he could turn somebody into a wall, I believe, or at least rebuild them if there is some, brickwork laying around. He could just turn that back into a fully solid wall, with his eye editing powers. Anyway, we're not talking about that movie or those powers. So I knew that at some point. So that's the only thing I knew. And then they're like, all right, cool. Godzilla flipped out. We got to get King Kong, and we got to bring him over here to fight off Godzilla for us. And he'll do that because we found a little girl. If you've seen any of the trailers, obviously, I'm not giving that away. With Nuclear Man. Yes, we're scientists, and we've made Nuclear Man. Nuclear Man? Same difference. I'm a genius. So, still a pretty hilarious movie. Definitely was one of my favorites when I was a kid, even though it's the worst. So they bring King Kong around. Oh yeah, so Godzilla's like, yeah, I'm angry. And we're like, why? What's going on? He would never do this. And 11 is all like, hey, I love Godzilla. He saved my family, I think, even though he killed a billion other people in the process. Excuse me, he's my friend. I'm gonna go have an adventure with my friends. Just like a Stranger Things adventure. And you're all gonna love that because you love Stranger Things. And I'm like, excuse me, movie on my TV. I do love Stranger Things, but you don't have to keep jamming it into other movies. Stranger Things already took all the other movies and jammed it into Stranger Things. You don't have to then unjam it out back into all those things when you remake those. Can't wait for Ghostbusters. I'm terrified that Ghostbusters is just going to feel like an episode of Stranger Things, which might work, which might not work. I don't know. I don't know if I care about anything anymore. But exactly, I'm just like, there is no way that these kids can save the day. There's no day to save. There's just some monsters that need to wrestle each other. That's all that's happening. You were already characters from the King of Monsters universe. So you were there. You were in that other movie. You're mentioning things from that movie. So you already know about all of the biggest monsters fighting each other. So this should seem like almost nothing in comparison. So go back to school or do whatever it is you're doing. I don't need you in this movie. And everything that those kids did was just annoying kids saving the world nonsense. It's like, monsters are going to be trying to murder each other eventually, right? Like, if this kid doesn't use her mind powers to fight a monster, then I don't need her in this movie. And also, sorry to whatever her name is, Billy Ray, Billy Eilish Ray Cyrus. No, it's a real easy. Bobby Brown, Millie Bobby Ray Brown. There we go. So she seems the most believable as the character who doesn't say much and seems weird. And once she starts talking, it's just like, oh yeah, you're just like every other child actor. Unnecessary in this movie. So they take up a bunch of time that I don't need taken up. The movie is surprisingly not that long. Like once it started, I was like, oh, this isn't a 4-hour movie? I don't know how to watch a movie that's less than 4 hours now, but I also don't want this movie to be 4 hours long because I don't want to watch a 4-hour long wrestling match. But let's see how you're going to pull this together. So Godzilla shows up, and honestly, my first thought was, well, that's not Godzilla. That has to be some sort of fake or just an alternate monster that looks Godzilla-ish. And, you know, he'll be murdered, and it'll be okay. It'll be okay. The movie will end, and then real Godzilla will be like, what? Oh, hey, guys, I was recharging down in the Earth's core there where we have all that radiation that killed that guy last time. Oh, Godzilla, cool. We're buds because we're both the kings of the monsters. Fist bumpies, and then they part their separate ways like a T-Rex and a Velociraptor. You know, how they usually end up being friends when they team up. And movies make sense. So, not to spoil, but spoiler alert, I was wrong. That is Godzilla. When Godzilla shows up, it's Godzilla. Something about him, to me, doesn't feel as Godzilla-y as the last two Godzilla movies. He seems like a fake Godzilla. Kong seems 100% real Kong. And I've watched Skull Island so many times. So many times. Love Skull Island. Can't get enough Skull Island. Again, still a bunch of stuff doesn't make any sense. Hey guys, run away better. You're in helicopters. Fly away better. Stop flying towards the giant thing you've never seen before, and that is probably a deadly monster? You just saw it kill everybody? Just get away from there. Use your radios, triangulate, figure out, and then evacuate. I don't know. But again, without people being stupid, you don't have a movie. So Kong is awesome. Looks great. Godzilla still looks great. There's just something about him, and maybe it's because he seems the same size as King Kong that it just seems like, why are you way smaller now? I realize King Kong is bigger, but you seem smaller as well. This is weird, but who cares? They start wrestling, and it's great. They figured out a way to semi-cleverly have, several rounds. So it's not just one continuous fight. They can fight. They go their separate ways. We got to figure something out. The thing they figure out doesn't actually make any sense, but we're doing it anyway. Oh, and also, even though the real issue is we've got to deal with why Godzilla's so upset, their real thing is like we secretly slash openly need to get to the Earth's core, or whatever, this magical land of tunnels that we established in the last movie, maybe the one before, that Godzilla zips through. He's got all these little gummy bear speed tunnels, so we can get to all different places in the world through these magical tunnels. And in the last movie, I'm like, yep, still basically believable. There's some tunnels, and if you're a giant monster, you can zip through them because they are just riddled with radiation, and the monsters go there to recoup their radiation needs. But in the movie, they decided, well, how do we get our human hands in on this secret world of Alex Mack down here? I want to go through the quick tunnels. I want to get some of that radiation. But in the last movie, we saw that the radiation kills you. It's just going to kill you, and there's no way around it. It's everywhere, and it's going to kill you. Yeah. Let's go down there and get some of that. So, part of the movie, human-wise, is about humans going down into the depths of nonsense and collecting themselves some radiation powers so they can have like the greatest powers. And yeah, I mean, the amount of other things that should have been down there, but the fact that they went down there, they went down. Again, spoiler alert, they go down, they find his travel speeding to the center of the Earth ship, and they're going down, and they bring in King Kong, like, hey, King Kong, come on down here. And King Kong's all like, hey, Amy, go, Amy, friend. Because it's also kind of like Congo Skull Island. There's a little bit of Congo to it in that King Kong secretly learns sign language. The guy that's constantly being observed and is bigger than everything, and his hands are as big as all of the people who are watching him. He learned some sign language while no one was looking. For those 5 minutes a day, no one's looking, I guess. So they're talking to him and stuff and saying, hey, dog, why don't you use that glowing red nose to guide our sleigh tonight to the radiation bunker of ultimate radiation powers? King Kong is going to night school this fall on CBS. So they go down there, and whatever, it's a magical land betwixt. It's not like it was in the movie before, where it's like, here's a tunnel, here's where the radiation is, the monster goes and lays by it. It was just a magical land of the upside down, the right side up. And did I mention that at least the first 3 sections, or 3 segments, where 11 was featured? 11, the lady character, the movie switched to a weird synthesized Stranger Things music. Again, good music, good show, great stuff. Every time these characters or these actors show up in something, you don't need to then jam some Stranger Things music in there. You just don't. But that would pop up, and I'm like, cool, that's going to keep taking me out. Oh, yeah. It's the sunniest, brightest day down there. It is a magical utopia where there is no sky. It's just ground up here and ground down there, and you can jump from gravitational pull to gravitational pull, and King Kong is having the greatest time. I think they're outside, they're taking their masks off, where it's just like, you guys aren't giant monsters. Why aren't you getting crushed? You guys aren't weird radiation beasts. Why can you breathe down here? Why are you still alive? Dude from the last movie literally had like 20 seconds to survive when he, set off a nuclear explosion, an atomic explosion to make this place even more radioactive. It's not getting less radioactive, guys, but whatever. So the dumbest thing. The dumbest thing. Is they find the power source. They find the axe. It's just there. Just there. Hey, check it out. Somebody at some point in time made an axe out of a Godzilla tail. Well, it's mine now. I'm gonna sit here and feel like the king of town. You should, King Kong. You should. Oh. You can hear a very heavy beat coming from upstairs. I doubt it's coming through the microphone at all, but it's going like a bump 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 bump. So I forget exactly what happens after that. Godzilla gets angry. They have another fight. Now he's got the axe. They still manage not to murder each other, which is kind of amazing. They definitely murder 1 million people in the process of their next fight. I'm not gonna sit here and yell, why are you wearing a mask to the movie, but that magical hole through the earth that had a gravitational whatever this and that. King Kong just climbs out like it's no big deal, and then they just start wrestling. Those other guys find the ultimate power source, and this is a spoiler, but it's not important and it's stupid. But apparently, if you go like deep into the earth, if you anywhere, it doesn't matter. If you find an ultimate power source in whatever year this is, it's not super far in the future, but it's a little more spacey than now. They were like, well, we found it. Cool. Well, then just basically like send up the details. All right, we'll just scan it, and then we'll send you the breakdown of what makes up this giant, amazing power source, and then you're gonna take that. Like it was like they faxed, like not even email. It's like they faxed what was like. Here's a list of what's in the ultimate power source here. Cool. Well, now that we have this, I'm just gonna turn on our giant monster and power it with this. But it's like, but you have zero access. You are 1 billion miles away from actually, pipelining this power to you. You just got an email that said, yep, found it. Cool. Well, let me just take this JPEG of power. Let me just power up this giant monster robot with an NFT, and no one's going to funge us. No one's going to funge us around here. We are unfungible. And then, spoiler alert, if you didn't know that King Kong and Godzilla were going to team up and fight something else, then you're bad at movies. That's the only thing this movie could ever have been about. My speculations were always just, is it going to be a bad Godzilla? Is it going to be poisoned by somebody else? Or is it a robot in disguise? And then, the King Kongs fight the battle to defeat the evil forces of Mechagodzillas. And yeah, that's basically it. It's just like, hey, so we scienced up some power, and now this thing is running. And then, very much like a lot of the Transformers movies, actually. Speaking of Autobots waging their battle to defeat the evil forces of the Decepticons. At a certain point, a very Megatron-y thing, how like at least 2 of those movies, maybe 3 of those movies, it's like, well, Megatron's dead. Well, he's not coming back. what's going on? It's like Megatron's brain functions are in this robot now. Now it's just Megatron just keeps coming back. That kind of happens in this movie, which again, also inconsequential. Excuse me. But yeah, like I only really remember watching, and I didn't know anything about. Like I remember watching with my friends. They were like, "Oh, we got to watch this Godzilla." Like, what is that? I don't know what Godzilla is. And then we watched. I can't remember who it was. Like, it was Godzilla and some other monster, not a Mothra, but a fairly insecty beetle type creature that came down from space or something. And it seemed more like it was an Ultraman movie. So I don't know how that stuff works out. If it was an Ultraman movie that had Godzilla and another Godzilla creature in it, or if it was a Godzilla movie that also had Ultraman. But in that one, there were some kids that are like, "Oh no, like the monsters, like, but Godzilla's our friend." And Ultraman's like, "All right, I'll grow up super huge, and we'll have a big brawl." Hey Reese's, how'd you get those pieces? What up, dog? You got a whole cup full of peanut butter fun. You got some chocolate there. You don't need to run. So again, in the world of monsters fighting each other, there was a good chunk of that. There was, I feel like there was more, and it was clearer, and it was more wrestling-y fun than the last two movies. And again, especially that King of Monsters, where it was just like, wow, I can't believe you put so many monsters in this movie, and you are cutting to this lady and her kid so much, so much. So this movie still did that more than enough. Um, That's a good fact, Reese. That's a good fact. If my middle name was Reese, then my exterior names be Chocolate. So, again, technically a spoiler, but parts that don't matter. Like, honestly, I feel like the spoilers for this movie are revealing what happens during any of the fights, because anything else doesn't matter. None of it matters. The the worst part, which was just, it was way too heavy with, was 11. Hey, I'm gonna go do something. All right. Hey, I think it's Russell from Deadpool 2. I'm not okay with this. I don't want to go. You're always with these crazy adventures. Who are you? You're a new character. You don't know her. Don't do this. I guess we're doing this. We're in this together. So they go and they meet this adult guy who's like, it's conspiracy guy, but he's 100% the most sitcom, washed down, just basic version of a conspiracy guy from, I'm gonna say, 9 years ago. So especially in a movie that seems like it's a little more futuristic, this guy should be better at being a conspiracy guy. Also, he works at the place where he's trying to expose the conspiracy. So there's no way he would get away with that. But also, how do you still not know anything? You're the dumbest person. You are too dumb to be a conspiracy person and to be right about things. I hate you. I hate you? Like, I hate you. So, and that's the other thing too, is like the trailer really did show. I tried to avoid even the trailers. I saw a bit of one, and every time it was coming towards that punch on the boat, I would turn it off, and it was just like, I don't want to see any of this. I do want this to be 100% a surprise for me, so that I can ruin it for other people. Good night, Space Goni. Have fun at work tomorrow. But But yeah, so those three just keep sneaking around, having their weird little Babysitters Club adventures. The conspiracy guy never stops talking and is never funny, and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be funny. He's definitely supposed to be like, well, we're doing what now? Hey, I got an idea. Let's go this way. Hey, now we're here. And it's just like, you guys have covered way too much ground. You've been to too many different places. And you don't need to be involved in any of this. And like once, maybe twice, it cut to Eleven's dad, and I'm like, I believe in you. I believe this character. You're a believable character. Let's hang out with this guy. And no. So and yeah, they don't even sneak around anywhere. History state test. I don't even know what that means. Like the state history test, where it's like each state has to do their whatever, where we compare each of the states and how much each of them have learned. That sounds awful. All right. This isn't how I normally animate, by the way. Um, but because I'm trying to talk at the same time, and because people are watching, it makes me not really know how to do anything anymore. What even brush am I using? All right, that's fine. All right, so I'm going to kind of clean this up a little bit. Still want it to be sketchy. And these will be some tweens in between. Yeah, no, I do not miss the days of taking tests. And it does feel weird now that it's just like, oh, there's no way. Like, I don't have any information other than telling crazy stories if I don't have access to just looking things up. And or, hey teacher, if you want to know this stuff so bad, just look it up. Why are you coming to me? Some student. You know. But that logic doesn't work at all. So in the end, Godzilla versus King Kong. Lots of dumb stuff. Every movie has lots of dumb stuff, but I liked it better than King of Monsters. I have never really went back and watched the Godzilla versus Motu and whatever those monsters were. Maybe I watched that one twice, the Bryan Cranston one. But this is this is one that I would still rewatch it. Like now that I've seen the whole thing, this is still definitely one where it's like, all right, let me skip through the people stuff and let's watch some monsters wrestle. It definitely stays on them longer. King of Monsters was terrible for the I'm gonna get you and then cut away, or just like the whole reason we're here is to see who gets punched the hardest and who survives, and you cut away from the punch. So I don't know. I'm gonna need some health bars or something then, because that's what I need to know. But but like I said, still looks great. Effects still fantastic. The monsters are still amazing. Um, they're still not good at coming up with reasons to get the monsters to fight. Actually, you know what? Even in this one, the reasons to get the monsters to fight were still good. They were still good. There's just some stuff in it that are just like, all right, People be doing stuff. People be doing stuff because that's what people do. But and that's the other thing is, out of all the movies, it felt like the least amount of time passed before a monster showed up. Like King of Monsters, oh my god, I can't believe how long it took for there to be an unhatched monster. And again, same goes for the Bryan Cranston Godzilla, where it's like, oh my god, I can't believe Godzilla still hasn't come out of that thing. That wasn't Godzilla? Oh, what a twist! But it's like, so we're still waiting for Godzilla? Like, okay. And you're gonna kill off Bryan Cranston? Fine. Nothing makes sense anymore. I don't think it's right to ever kill off Bryan Cranston. I mean, until the last possible second and/or episode. I mean, he's like John Cusack. He's an American treasure. It's true. It's true. It's offensive to kill Bryan Cranston. But yeah, King of Monsters, without skipping through, because yeah, even with skipping, I'm almost definitely not gonna ever bother watching that movie again because it wasn't a monster brawl, it wasn't a monster mash. It was the story of, I want to say Dylan McDermott. That's not her name, but whatever the mom's name was. Um, it was about her going crazy and a bunch of military people with a bunch of plans, with just a bunch of plans that I didn't understand. And yeah, if you have to skip, like same with Civil War. Civil War has some great scenes, super great fight scenes. But the overall movie is wicked boring. So every once in a while when I'm like, or well, when it was on Netflix, I was like, ooh, Civil War, like. Let's watch some Spider-Man and fun. And I put the movie on, and then after, like, I don't know, 15 minutes, I was just like, oh, let me just skip ahead to the Spider-Man scene, then I'm done. I don't actually like this movie. This movie is boring. It sucks. And realistically, as a marketing campaign, then and now, anytime really, if you were making a Bryan Cranston Godzilla movie, why wouldn't you have a commercial that was just, I mean, maybe a Conan thing where Conan's like, all right, we're just going to make a weird fake Godzilla commercial that is just about Bryan Cranston pretending to be Godzilla, stomping on buildings. Maybe he just, has some of the radioactive fins down his back, but he doesn't need anything. He's just totally wearing a Malcolm in the Middle sweater and just kicking stuff over and screaming, "I am Bryan Cranston," and I'm totally fine with that. Fate, I just still don't know what that is. Every day, about twice a day, my phone goes ding a dunk, and I don't know why. There's no notification. There's no nothing. And it's making me crazy. What else happened? What else happened? Because I had some notes from last week I forgot. Uh, this is weird or something I should embrace. Um, where's my buttons? Where's my buttons? There's your buttons. Always be switching to me, cause I'm the best and I'm on the TV. It's my show, I'm Milo, and here we go with segment part 2. Stop it. My show, you're just here for me to get angry at. Um, so, oh, thanks to letting him talk, now I forgot what I was going to say. Ah ha ha! It's my gift. It's my curse. It's my power. It gets worse. I am the one who controls the vertical and or the horizontal. I'm in your head. I'm in all of the heads. And nobody knows what they dread. Because I know what the shadow knows. And I lurk in the shadow. I don't remember what the shadow was all about. But I know that he had a big nose and a scarf. Is that enough? What, did that help you remember? No, it didn't help me remember. Um, I got a message today. Was it today? Yeah, today. So every week when I post about my stream on Instagram, there's going to be a stream today. I'll get started with one. Now it's up to three. Three different people who have no followers, who follow nothing, that are just like, hey, contact this place, and they'll repost you or whatever. They help synergize. They help support streamers and gamers and whatever. It's like, well, I'm not a gamer, and also this seems a bit sketchy. So no thanks, no thanks. Please stop harassing me. And it's definitely like one of 1,000 robots set out by this company, because the company part has like 470,000 followers and 3 posts, and then there's a million of these other things that are just like Karen Johnson 45, zero Karen Johnson bot 48. Hey, whatever, Steve, cool guy 01045078. And they're always just that thing where it's just like, oh, we'll promote you. Contact this guy, these people, and they'll promote you. Like, well, I don't believe you. You seem like a robot whose account just started existing to send me this, and you just get reported after every 5 posts that you make, robot, and then you make another robot of yourself, and you don't have the T2 crowbar hands to hang out the passenger side of my ride, trying to holler at me. But I got a different one today. Today, oh man, today I got an Instagram that I assume is just for my Instagram. Like, hey, would you like to do like sponsored content? I guess, I don't know. It just said, I've been looking at your account, and you seem to have everything in line with what these guys are all about. So contact them. I think you guys should work together. All right, let me click on you. All right, you clearly just started existing today, robot. You have the most realistic name so far. You seem like you almost might be a real person, but you're still definitely a robot. Now, what's this company again? Let me click on that. They've only got about 7 posts, but 470,000 followers or whatever. And part of me is just like, oh, dare I actually write back to these people like, hey, somebody wrote to me. I've only got like 600 followers, but is that enough for us to do branded deals? / are you going to send me some free stuff? Because this company was called... No, that can't be right. I have to look real quick. Yep, that's what I wrote down. That's real. It was a company called Smooth My Balls. Smooth My Balls. Meow, meow, meow. That's right, Rips. Smooth my balls. Smooth my balls. Like, take my balls and smooth them out? Like, get the wrinkles out? No. Maybe. I don't know. The first 3 posts are piles and piles of tennis balls. Okay. But they clearly are selling grooming products. Some sort of electric razor. Some stuff for like doing... cutting your nails and trimming your nose hairs and whatnot. They had some sort of device that I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a little vacuum? with a some sort of mincer inside of it, but it was I think it was called a pube muncher. I think it was called a pube muncher, Pat. And this looks like a little like can type of device, like a little tuna can type of thing with like a picture of some sort of pube munching monster on it, and it just shows it like in the sink with a bunch of hair, and it's like, hey, aren't you tired about it? You shave your face and you get a bunch of stuff, you don't want it to go in the sink, you want to like grind that stuff down. We got this pube muncher, but it's like I definitely need more information or a video on what is this thing. What are you talking about? What is this? Like I said, they only got like 6 or 7 posts, and just a bunch of like, hey, you want to keep things smooth? Let's smooth it out. Cool. But how? What are we talking about? What are we talking about, sirs? And I don't know. So part of me is tempted to just be like, hey, yeah, I don't know. I'll give you guys a shout out if you send me some free stuff, and it's good, or it'll be bad, garbage stuff, and I'll talk about how garbage you are. But either way, is this real, or are you robots? Because I feel like my numbers are not high enough to actually be the face of pube munching. I mean, obviously, I should be the face of pube munchers, but I don't have the numbers. It just seems like some sort of a scam. What is happening right now? What world did we cross over into? Is this a Through the Looking Glass? Is this a bizarro world? I mean, is Zod gonna show up and demand that we kneel before him because we are in the negative zone? Is this negative? Is this positive? Like I said, I don't know. I don't know. So I know, and there's a lot of like a lot of podcasts I listen to. There's definitely a lot of businesses that are purely in the business of landscaping Jennies. That doesn't. I was about to say a thing, but it's just like you guys don't know that her name is Jenny. That won't work. But this company hasn't come up in any of my podcast adventures yet, so it's the first time I've ever heard of them. But mostly, I know that businesses don't seek out Instagrammers or streamers that only have a few hundred um, followers. It's just not good business. Unless, of course, somewhere I do have a big giant following and I'm just not aware of it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. They seem pretty quiet and or very new. So I assume again it's mostly robots, and they just paid for the clout that they have, and that's how they're existing so hard at the moment. Plus, I'm already too busy shilling my own stuff. That's right. If you would like a mug like this, or one similar, or different, or some other things that are hilarious and or clever, or feature me and my face, because this is the Milo Show, you can go to mrcartoons.com /store, I think. Well, /books. Definitely takes you to buy some books about me and some other things. But there's also a link there to go to the Society 6 store, and you get some t-shirts, or some bags, or some pillows with me, or some funny things and whatnot on them. So there's that. So buy those things, and then deal with your own pubes. then get your own puke munch on your own time. That seems rude, but it's true. But it's true. One of these days. One of these days. It is quite amazing. Like, I do work for a lot of streamers that are some pretty big deal people, and just seeing their posts where it's like, oh hey, like now I have a deal with this whole streaming company, or YouTube's giving me a bunch of money or gear. Gatorade sent me a bunch of stuff with my logo on it so I can give it away. Like, wow, like that's amazing. I'm still kind of put off by some people's NFT stuff. Especially when it is just like, wait, you didn't even make this? You didn't make this NFT? You hired somebody to make a thing and then you're gonna resell it as an NFT? What is anything? What is anything? But of course, that is already how things work. Nobody sells art. Everybody sells somebody else's art. That's how art gets sold. Business people, and it never gets old. So I'm just out here slinging a bunch of fungible art, books, and whatnot. Very weird sometimes trying to clean up a drawing, but trying not to clean it too much because it still has to be sketchy. Oh man. These are just our tweens. Our keys, I mean. Smooth my balls. How you gonna fall on your balls when they're so smooth? Okay, this is a note I made for myself. Okay. Couldn't quite remember that day. It was like, what was that all about? Thankfully, I wrote just enough in my notes, so I can remember. But one day, who knows? A week ago, it's been a little while now. Going for a walk. I'm pretty sure it was the weekend. I want to say it was like a Saturday afternoon. Maybe almost the evening, late afternoon, let's just say. And I went over to the next street and down the street a little ways. And at a certain point, I was passing. There's like, it's kind of like three bars slash little pubs slash restaurants slash microbreweries, but they're all kind of connected into the same thing. And so, like, the pizza place has beer from the microbrewery over here, and you go into this place, and you can order stuff from the other thing, and whatever. So, um, last week, like I think just this week or just the other day, the age bracket has opened up, so now people in my age bracket, which is still old people, can make appointments to get their vaccination. But before that, it was just people like 55 and over. Like they had just opened it up to people 55, maybe 50. I'm not sure, but it was like, hey, it's just like 50 and 60-year-olds and like 80-year-olds are the only people getting vaccinated. And as we've seen in the news, a bunch of people were already like, hey, we've got vaccinated. Let's have a vaccination party because we were vaccinated. Just like, that's not how it works. That's not how this works. And they were like, this is how this works. We're going to live forever. So, this one day, this Saturday, it was just very quiet. It was very quiet. It was before the third lockdown or whatever. And I'm walking down the street and I just keep passing like just amazingly old people that are just like out on the street, and just it's the only thing that's out. Like the street, like there's no cars out, there's no people. It's just the quietest day ever. And I'm like, am I the only person? Have I been left behind? Like, is everybody gone except the old people? Like, or is it just, oh, everybody's like, no, we're done. We're going to stay hunkered down and safe. And the old people are like, we got all the vaccinations. Now all the bars are ours. The restaurants are ours. The parks are ours. We're taking it all over. And it was just everywhere I went, there was just, old people. And I mean, in like little groups, but still, it was just like, this is starting to feel a little bit like, just gangs, in those movies where it is like, oh, all the adults died, now all these kids are taking over. It was like one of those, except reverse. And like I said again, like everything was just so quiet that it was just the only thing that I could see. It feels very The Birds. Like I've half expected to see a bunch of old people like perched up in every windowsill, staring down at me, ready to throw garbage at me, or just straight up attack me like The Birds. So I go to walk by this one little pub, bar thing, whatever it is, coffee shop, I don't know. Um, it's just like a block away. It's owned by the guy who owns this building that I live in. And it really, Laser Sharks, really felt like a roving gang of old people. So as I got to the place, some old people were getting up to the door to go in and just kind of like, oh, we need masks. And like one just like, I don't even care if I need a mask. Like, whatever we got to do to make them happy. Like, here we go. And just like, there's some like, some rowdy old people going to the pub in the middle of the afternoon to go just be belligerent, I guess. And once you're at your table or once you're sitting down, you can take your mask off anyway. So I'm walking by, and there's a line of windows from one end to the other. And normally you just glance in, and people are kind of like, there's tables, people are looking at each other, people are sitting drinking. They're nowhere near the windows. There isn't, there isn't a connection. It's not like fish in a fish tank. It's just there and there, and they don't care about the outside world, and most people aren't looking in. But for some reason on this day, I looked in, and I just looked in the whole way down the window as if it was, I got to keep an eye on this in case like this goes 28 days later and they just start coming out the windows. So thirsty. Like, so thirsty an hour ago. But very much in the bird like analogy, for some reason, like they were all just kind of lined up, like just a bunch of old people in there with no masks on, and it was just chair, 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 like sitting against like the bar, I guess. Nobody looking at each other, nobody there to hang out with each other. They were all just like away from the window, but all just sitting there to look out the window on a day when nobody's around and there's nothing to look at. Kirby, I think I got an email earlier saying that you started following. Kirby, yeah. Over there. Solving crimes. Training bears. Kirby, yeah. You know they care. Saying hello there. From the top of the stairs. Yeah, it was fully one of those times when like you know that somebody like you don't need to see somebody staring at you, you can feel them staring at you, so it was just like, oh, stare straight ahead, but I can still feel them all looking at me. Slash I've got to keep an eye out, a peripheral open over here to make sure that that you know, I don't get run into town by some super old people just like, we run this town now. I'll be like, no, I'm much older than I look. It's fine. Please leave me. Leave me. Yeah, it's some frames from a little short that I'm working on for somebody. He is an evil, evil priest crow. And I definitely have one more note. Oh yeah. Well, this isn't what my note was, but watching this YouTube guy, and he was talking about like the whole TikTok thing where people are like, "Hey, I'm just lip syncing to somebody else's hilarious audio where I'm doing nothing to make it better. I'm just sitting at my computer lip syncing to somebody else's joke." And he was watching TikTok or Instagram Reels, and one of the hilarious pieces of audio was yeah, he looks more like this guy over here. Oh, invisible. So who was it? I believe it was, oh, come on, stop doing this. Yeah, I think it was Danny Gonzalez I was watching. He mostly just kind of does like movie and just other reviews of other YouTubers that are horrible people usually. And he was like, yeah, like I'm over here complaining that I put effort into making things, and there's people out there that are making money and getting lots of followers when there's just like, oh my god, like you're just sitting at your desk mouthing the words that I said, and it's just like you're not making it even any funnier than I did. So it's like I'm always gonna think I did it better because it was my thing. It was my thing, and you're just basically just copying and doing nothing to further this thing. And I was like, oh wow, this is what I was just talking about, and it's not new. But the other thing, somewhat connected to that thought, was again, like I said last week, it's weird that somebody can be like, hey, I'm making this video. I'm going to go grab a bunch of clips from all these other more popular videos or equally as popular videos. And now I don't have to make up a joke. I don't have to make something visually interesting or audibly funny because I will just post, hey, here's Nicolas Cage screaming the bees and done. I don't have to be like, hey, remember Nicolas Cage with the bees on his head? I don't have to animate a cat and then be like, hey, look at me. I also have a voice over here, and I also remember Nicolas Cage at the bees. They don't have to do that. They just cut to the picture. They don't even need a video. It's just here's the meme picture of Nicolas Cage screaming the bees, and fine, whatever. Again, most of my rage comes from whenever I try to steal something like that or throw up an image that's in use by the rest of the world. The rest of the world's like, hey, you can't do that. Meanwhile, all these other videos, like they still have the watermark in there. It was like, here's a bunch of Getty's images. The watermark in there means that you can't just jam it in your video without paying them. And you did. Hilarious as it is, you're just over here jumping over fences, and I'm over here having to open the gates. Oh my god, I talk too much. So I was watching this one video again, and still love these guys. Still think they're super interesting, and won't stop watching them. But the Mr. Sunday Movies, Caravan of Garbage. Oh my god. They're great. They're great. I love their voices. Listen to them talk for hours, and I do. But yeah, I was watching this one. That is a movie review of a movie, and they don't have they'll show clips from the movie, but then they just have their editor edit stuff together, whatever he can find from the internet, fair game, and he uses it. So within actually I just put a bunch of stuff in the fridge so that I can make juice because I finished off my juice already today. Within his movie review visuals, instead of having their own reaction or the end, that instead of having their own reaction, they cut to, and it's like, again, it's usually meme stuff and just a bunch of random things, but one of the reactions was a clip from JonTron doing a movie review, and his reaction, which is like one that, again, it has become a meme, I believe. Everyone uses it for stuff, but it's like, but this is your movie review show. Like, how do I connect this to Godzilla? It's like if I made a giant monsters, even better. It's like if Pacific Rim came out and everybody was like, oh, we're real excited, some giant monsters fighting. And then at a certain point, they just kept cutting away to again, still probably would have been great, people would have loved it. But they just kept cutting away to other Godzilla movies. Pacific Rim isn't Godzilla. It's not in that universe. It's kaiju. It's different. Whole separate new movie. But if just within that movie, they just were like, yep, there's 25 minutes of other Godzilla footage. And people would love it because, hey, we got what we really want to see. And we get to see some new robots fighting some new monsters. And everybody wins. But they don't pay the Toho company. They don't pay the original Godzilla, whoever made the movie that they're stealing it from. They just jam it in there. And they're just like, good job, I did it. I made a giant monster movie. Like, yeah, but you you took scenes from somebody else's monster movie and put it in your monster movie. Like, yeah, that way I know people will see it. Like, at least Transformers bought the rights to the Transformers before they started, putting terrible Transformers in there. Oh, it's a lot later than I thought it was. It's like I have been talking a while, and I didn't open my mouth and say words all day long. But anyway, just the weird the weird paradox that is you used a piece of a movie review show to put into your movie review show instead of making your own movie review show. Slash, whilst doing your wildly popular movie review show. But again, not because they're not great, because they are, just because, hey, either everybody gets to steal everything all the time or nobody. There's this in between thing. I just can't keep up. Now, Laser Sharks, I have to go to bed too. 10:30 is pretty much my limit. Oh, and I got a new shelf. Not an exciting story. I had an old shelf right over there, and I was like, hey, life would be so much easier if I just replaced this shelf with a taller shelf and not this old shelf. Um, so I went to the store, picked out the shelf. This one should be good, you know, measurement wise and whatnot. But there isn't like a box here readily available for me to load up into a cart, so I absolutely have to ask somebody, can you get one of these from the back or whatever and bring it up to the front and then put it in my car so I can take it home. There's the beginnings of a run. Need a bunch more in-betweens in there. That'll do after work tomorrow. My nose is really starting to run from talking so much as well. But yeah, so I went up to the counter and was like, hey, I was wondering about a shelf over there, like pointing as if like we have to go. Can you ring up this shelf? I want to buy this shelf. But I was just like, yeah, I'm just wondering about the shelf over there. Like expecting her to go like, oh, yes. And I will follow you right now with my little buying things device or sourcing device. And instead, and normally super nice lady. She's definitely helped me before. But instead of just following me over and going, oh, yes, of course, let's go to the shelves and we'll figure out your shelf dilemma. He was like, yeah? Like, what are you wondering? There's only really one thing to wonder in a store when I already pointed to the. I was wondering if I could take it home. Wondering if I could have it. I'll pay for it. Either can I take the floor model, throw it in the car, or do you have one out back? I'm wondering if it exists in the capacity at which I can take it home. Can I have this? Can I have this shelf? And I felt real mean and rude. But like that was the only answer was like, oh, I was just wondering about whether or not I can have this shelf because there have been times in my life where I'm like, hey, I want to purchase this, and they're like, oh no, we don't have any, and I'm like, well, you have that one. Can I have that one then? Like, no. I'll sign the waiver that says I bought a floor model. Can I just take this now? Just a box. It's just a whatever. It's just a shelf. It's just a little couch. It's just a little chair. Can I just have this? Was wondering, you put a price on it and you put it in front of me. If it's not for sale, then get rid of it then. Or give it to me for free. You can't sell it to me, give it to me. But she didn't spend the evening messing with me. She very quickly was like, oh yeah, let's go right over, no problem. But I did think it was just very odd that right away she was just like, like, what are you wondering? Like, I'm wondering why you've just taken a relaxed attitude towards work? I don't want to be out here. I don't want to put this shelf together. I made it out of my home today. Nobody yelled at me about my mask. Can I have a shelf? I'm gonna go back home to my own panic attacks. Only gonna run for a few strides anyway. But, excuse me. It's the middle of the night, as far as I'm concerned, and I have to get to work in the morning just like everybody else. So that's about it for this week's Drawn Stuff stream. We'll get back to making comic strips. Get back to making comic strips next week. And then maybe we'll talk to some more characters. Hey guys, I'm over here the whole time, and nobody even talked to me. Yeah, well, I also didn't get the new animation that I wanted, even though you got new animation, Ted, and I'm over here, old animation Milo, and nobody even cares. Hey guy, dude, it's fine. Does everybody just relax and have a good time? I'm just a painting of a cat with great advice about keeping it chill and keeping it real. I am real, and I am chill, and I have had my fill of you, Tedward. I've had my fill. But I'm here, and I'm having a great time, and I'm enjoying being up on the wall, and maybe you should enjoy being everywhere you want to be, and being able to go to a mall. Are you rhyming? Are you rhyming on me right now? That's our thing. You don't rhyme, Ted. You can have your advice. You can think you're better than me. But oh my god, don't you dare steal my rhyming time. No problem, guy. I do what I can to be a good guy. Meow, 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 meow. All right, guys, we don't need to fight. Thanks everybody for hanging out for another week. I absolutely have to go blow my nose so bad. And yeah, tune in next Tuesday. Follow at Mr. Cartoons on Instagram and Twitch and Twitter and all that stuff. And yeah, we're here every Tuesday. We're drawing stuff, arguing, and complaining about the things of the week. Sweetest Angel. Meow, 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 meow. Yep. Run the credits. Credits. Run the credits. Run the credits. Goodbye, everybody. Can't find the credits button. There it is. I blew my nose.